All right. Hey, everybody. Rob here with Bestseller Publishing. I think I have something that is a little bit different and unique and will be incredibly helpful for those of you that are looking to use your book, like Publish, Promote, Profit, to really grow and expand and blow up your business. So yesterday I was talking to a new client that's coming on. This is the C-suite executive leader of this company. And the company does $500 million a year in transactions. Very, very big company. And it's in the consulting space. And they want a book strategy. So initially, we're doing a 3-book deal with them, which I'm very, very excited about. And as always, when I speak to a client, Austin had originally spoken to them, and then I, of course, wanted to speak to him myself as well. Whenever I speak for the first time to a client, I ask, so I want to know a little bit more about why you're doing this, what your strategy is. And as I shared with you, the topic of this conversation of this BSPU video is how to model the strategy of a $10 billion consulting company so that you can emulate it and grow your own business. And when I initially got on the phone, I didn't know all of what I'd hear, but I had a pretty good idea, right? I've done a lot of these types of calls. And so I started asking questions like, what's the big goal? I know you want to do 3 books, and we talked about what the different books topics would be. And I said, okay, tell me a little bit more about what the goal is there. And he said, well, the number one goal is we want brand awareness and brand authority, kind of 1 and 1A. We want brand awareness to use for lead generation, and we want to grow our brand authority in this space. Now, this is already a company that has significant authority, generating revenue of $500 million a year, but they want to grow that. I said, okay, tell me a little bit more about that. Brand awareness, brand authority can be a little generic. So tell me, what does that mean specifically? What are you going after? He goes, well, number one, we want new customers. And so, we want to interject our book, to attract more customers. And so I asked him a couple of questions about that. I'll share with you in just a second. And he said, but the other thing we want is we want to attract 5-star, just A++ talent from other big consulting companies. And so we want some books that will also help us with brand awareness when it comes to attracting talent. I go, okay, this is why we ask questions and we dig, and we want to know what the goal and the results are that somebody want to achieve. The customers I get, but I didn't know about the employees and attracting real 5-star talent, which is a problem for big consulting companies like this. So I said, okay, tell me a little bit more. Tell me about your sales cycle, right? Because everybody's sales cycle is a little different. And of course, his clients are paying him probably on the low end, $100,000 to $250,000. On the high end, $1 million, $5 million, even $10 million contracts. I said, so tell me about the sales cycle there and what the sales cycle looks like. So he shared a little bit about his sales cycle. And as he shared, I said, well, here's some places that I would, have your various books be elements of creating brand awareness and even brand authority during this process. Of course, most people think about their book on the front end, right? Like I use my book in conjunction with a free plus shipping funnel, and I attract clients. And by doing that, I'm putting my book in front of people who have never heard of me before, never heard of Bestseller Publishing. And so I'm creating awareness of the brand Bestseller Publishing and me because of my book. However, in a big company like this consulting company, people, even a company that's a lot smaller like Bestseller Publishing, there are people at various stages of the cycle of becoming clients. Maybe they've heard about me for a long time. Maybe they've consumed some of my content. Maybe they've even had a coaching call with one of my author development coaches, but haven't pulled the trigger. So there are places that you can use your book all along this continuum until somebody becomes a client. And guess what? Even after they become a client, you'll want to get extra copies of your book into their hands so that they can use the book because they're happy with your services and what you're doing for them, so that they can use the book to help in the referral process of referring you great people. And by the way, my BSPU family, I would love it if you wanted extra copies of my book and pass them on to your friends, your family, to people that you're in business with, or associates that are interested in doing a book, because I would love not just your trust, but the trust of your referrals. You want the same thing. So you want to put, even at the time after someone has become a client, you want to put your book in their hands for other purposes. So my point in this particular video is not to tell you all the different places, but is really to kind of look at the big picture. So I was asking these questions. I said, okay, tell me, what is the cycle of attracting talent into your business? So, well, the cycle of attracting talent is, and he shared some of the steps. And I said, well, here's several ways that I would use a book to build brand authority so that you attract the absolute best talent into your consulting business. So I was asking more and more questions. Finally, I don't remember which question I asked, but I asked a question about, overall goals and where is the company going, and what do we want to see? Do we want to go from 500 million to a billion, multiple billion, et cetera? What's the goal? And he said, well, you've probably heard of McKinsey and Company. And I said, I don't know a lot of details about them, but he said, they're, one of the Goliaths of our industry. And he said, they have a book strategy that we want to emulate. And they've been using that book strategy to grow, to build incredible brand awareness and authority. And I said, well, tell me a little bit about that. And of course, I went on to do some of my own research because I wanted to learn about it as well. And basically what they're doing is they put out a book a quarter. McKinsey does. Very professional. I'm not talking about an ebook or a white paper, but a very professional book every single quarter that highlights employees within their firm, that highlights case studies, research that's being done, new tech projects that are being worked on, et cetera. Anything that a CEO of a company that would engage with them for their consulting services may be interested in reading. As you probably know, most CEOs are avid readers, right? So they're always thinking about and trying to stay on the cutting edge of their business. So McKinsey said, you know what, rather than us, being the one who shares about other people's books on the topic, we want to be the one that actually owns the content, owns the intellectual property, and we want CEOs reading our stuff. Well, we've known that for a while, but what I loved about McKinsey is how they, of course, I'm the book guy, so of course I'm going to love it. What I loved about McKinsey is that they are doing a book every single quarter. So I asked our new client, I said, well, $500 million company, I said, you want to emulate them. I get we're doing 3 books. Why wouldn't you do a book every single quarter exactly like them? And of course, he said, there's no reason why we wouldn't. In fact, we want to. So here's where you can emulate it. You may say, well, Rob, I can't afford the time, energy, resources to do a book every single quarter. And I understand that to a certain extent. I have all of the resources at my fingertips, and I don't do a book every quarter. However, I've shared with many of you that I'm doing 2 new books this year. Of course, this book was just published last year, and it will grow us $2 to $3 million in revenue this year. This book will, because of how we're using it with our funnel. And so if it will, why won't 2 others that aren't the exact same, this is more the overall whole picture, but that focus on a couple of niches that we work in. And so we're, right now I am developing with my team 2 other books besides a personal book that I'm writing. And I figure, what, I'm the book guy. I want to put out, basically a book every 6 months. I want to do a book, 2 books a year that work with and focus on different angles of our business and how we can meet our clients' needs or bring brand awareness and brand authority to our client for bestseller publishing. How do you emulate this? Well, there's a couple of different ways. Number one, don't think of the book you're writing as being the only book. Some people, and this is the unfortunate thing that we work with, take a very long time to get their book created because they're thinking that they're writing, the zenith, they're writing the War and Peace, they're writing the end all be all of that subject matter. And the truth is, You can't write that about any subject. You should think in terms of how can I create more content, not less content? How can I create more books on the subject matter, not less books? And what that will help you to do is that will help you to engage your material, your content in such a way that you no longer are holding on to the perfectionist mentality of this just has to be perfect. This just has to be exactly what I want it to be about my subject matter. Look, we want your books to be excellent. We want your books to be incredible. We want your books to do for you exactly what you want, but it's never going to be perfect. And if a company like McKinsey that has 27,000 employees and does 10 billion, with a B, a year in revenue, can produce 4 books a year, not just because they have the talent to do it. Obviously, they have the talent and the money to do it. But they're also producing these books with different topics and on different research and for different purposes, for employee retention and attraction, for client retention and attraction, for brand awareness, etc. So I want you to think much more about creating more content rather than less content, rather than thinking I'm only going to create one book in my lifetime and so it absolutely positively has to be perfect. That is the wrong mentality. And if you have that, it's going to take you too long to do this book. And the longer it takes you to do the book, guess what? The less money you're going to make. The faster you can create something that's good and high quality, the more money you're going to make, the more brand awareness you're going to have, the more brand authority you're going to have. I was intrigued because I hadn't heard of McKinsey doing this before, but a simple Google search, I was able to find exactly what they're doing. And I was intrigued that a company that's already doing $10 billion a year in revenue and is really at the height of the consulting company business, right? They're like, Bain and Booz Allen. In fact, these companies, I believe, are smaller than McKinsey. A company at its zenith has a strategy to continue growing, to continue to bring brand awareness, to continue to bring brand authority, and they're using books, and they're using a quarterly book on a different subject to continue to do this. So what I want to I guess more than anything, challenge you, get you focused on, thinking about is, number one, if you haven't completed your book, what's holding you back? Finish it. It's not going to be perfect. You're not going to be able to say everything on your subject matter that you need to, right? That's number one. Number two, if your book is already completed, you need to begin thinking about book 2 now. And if book 2 is something that's down the road and further down the road for you for a variety of reasons, then you need to think, okay, how can I, on an ongoing basis, create content that my ideal client, or maybe if you're trying to attract, new talent into your company, right, as your company grows, how can I create ongoing content using your book, right, using what you've already created? Maybe it's Facebook Lives, maybe it's video, maybe it's blogs, maybe it's repurposing some of this content for LinkedIn. There's 100 different ways that you can do it, but you need to think in terms, how can I emulate what McKinsey is doing and now what this $500 million company is doing to get to the $10 billion level like McKinsey is at and even beyond? You can emulate it. It just means you need to, number one, finish the book if you haven't finished it. It's not going to be perfect. Stop trying to make it perfect. And number two, you need to create a process for ongoing content creation. You need to be thinking about book 2 if book 1 is done, and you need to be thinking about, how can I repurpose the content in here? How can I share new client case studies? How can I use social media, etc., to get this message out? Hopefully that makes sense to you. I know I'm inspired to work with a company that's 500 million that we can maybe help to take to the $1 billion mark. How cool is that? That's a new thing for us. So I'm encouraged. I'm inspired. I can't wait to kind of roll up my sleeves. I don't have any sleeves today, but roll up my sleeves and really get to work on this. But you know what? You're not at 500 million, and most of my clients are not. but you have a goal to get to. Maybe it's to get to the $1 million mark. Maybe it's to get to the $10 million mark. I don't know what it is, but I do know this. You need a content strategy. You need a book strategy, because there's nothing like a book to grow your brand awareness and to grow your brand authority. You guys are great. I hope this is helpful. All right, let's open it up to any questions that you have. I'm happy to share any questions along the way, answer any questions that you might have, and see how I can serve you. So, Hiru, am I saying that right, by the way? Forgive me, Hiru. If I said it wrong, let me know. It says private, but let's see. I don't think it's meant to be private. It looks like a question. So let me read this. Just download 2 books in your Facebook post for review. Oh, you just downloaded the books. Thank you so much for doing that. So grateful. And those authors are grateful. Do me a favor. Please leave a comment on that Facebook post. Please leave a comment so I can have like a record of the people that actually did it. You're UK based, you had a downloader from the UK Amazon site, totally fine, and leaving reviews there, completely and totally fine. Thank you. You're not sure the reviews will not be included on the US site, so don't worry about that. Thank you so much already for what you've done. Please leave a review for the UK site. That's absolutely no problem. We welcome that. For future reference, is there anything else I could be doing to get the review on the US site? Not really. You could go through some steps basically to, create a separate account that's US based and, kind of a separate Amazon account. The thing is, to use a review or to offer a review, you have to have spent a certain dollar amount now to leave a US review. So I would say don't worry about that. We have clients all over the world. We have clients in almost 30 countries now. And our clients, just like yourself, you're going to want UK reviews as well, being based in the UK. So don't worry about it. The fact that you're leaving a review means the world to me. It means the world to those authors as well. Haru says, you pronounced my name correctly first time around. That's great. Great. Thank you. Dr. Craig, how are you, brother? Excited for the workshop this Friday. Awesome. Going to be great to have you there. As you might be able to see, I am doing some work on the different funnel stuff that I'm putting together. It's going to be a combination of a couple of things. I'm going to be talking about funnel basics. And when I talk about funnel basics, of course, that means I'm also going to be talking about, other kinds of funnels besides online, like free plus shipping funnels like this. I'll be talking about, simple funnels like, book to call, or book on the media to website, or various things. So I'm going to be giving some basics on funnels and what you need to be thinking of. And then I'm going to go deep into actually creating a free plus shipping funnel. I'm going to share all my resources on, including like all of my swipe copy that I created, my email autoresponders, copy on the pages. I'm going to give you scripts for videos, and we're going to take some time. It's going to be a real workshop where you're working on stuff, and you're going to be creating some of these scripts for your own videos. You'll be creating your own autoresponder sequences. You'll be creating your own copy for the pages, all of that stuff. So it's going to be pretty in-depth and pretty complete, and I hope you absolutely love it. So there you go. It'll be good to see you there Friday and Saturday. So what other questions can I answer for you? I hope this was helpful. I tried to, take something that was very encouraging and inspiring to me. And because you're trying to grow your business with a book, I thought it would be also encouraging and inspiring to you. This is not, using a book to grow your business and to make great impact and income is not just something that somebody's doing at the beginning stages of their business. It's something that a $10 billion company is doing, and now a $500 million company to emulate that $10 billion company. So I congratulate you. You are ahead of the curve. Now it's a matter of ongoing content strategies and also thinking about your next book, finishing your first if you haven't done it, etc. So Anyway, what else can I answer for you around any of the subject matter for the book? I'm here for you and want to answer your questions. We got, 20 something people on, but I don't see any other questions. And hey, if we're done, we're done. I will happily get some lunch and look forward to seeing all of you that are coming to the event Friday and Saturday. So I don't see anything else. You guys are great. Again, please go to the Facebook page, download the books for review. Make sure you comment so that I know that you've downloaded them and that you've reviewed the books, and we'll get you in the queue to do the exact same things. You guys are great. Thanks for everything and for trusting BSP with your book and with your business. You guys are terrific. Have a great day.